It's time for our studio discussion this evening. As you can see, I'm joined by very beautiful ladies in studio tonight. A lot of you probably identify them from Over 25, that's their YouTube channel. And I'll be introducing them very shortly, rather they'll be introducing themselves very shortly. Before we get into the conversation, which is on the illusion or the facade that social media creates, from the expensive trips to the designer handbags and the designer shoes and the exotic holidays, a lot of this is not true, and research has found that a significant number of people are actually portraying a fake lifestyle on social media. There are those that actually do and can afford these lifestyles, but a lot of people have actually been found to be faking it, particularly for Instagram, for the gram. We're going to be getting to this conversation. We ask you to continue sending in your comments using SMS number 22422. Let me introduce our panelists in studio this evening, starting from this end. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could introduce yourselves. Starting with you. Yeah.
Okay, my name is...
Please use the mic.
Yes. My name is Shiko.
Okay, hello, my name is Alex Washira.
Hi, Ivy.
Okay, that's fine. And on this end?
Good evening, my name is Julia.
Kanoko is my name.
Right.
And I'm Lorna Mushemi.
Okay, so those are our studio panelists tonight. Ken Oko is a sociologist, and he'll be helping us understand patterns of human behavior, the thinking behind the narcissistic behavior that has come about following the advent of social media, why people find it so necessary to lie or to be successful. And we are going to also be engaging the ladies from Over 25 on what their thoughts are on this issue. Before we get into that, let's take a look at examples of what this facade is. We chose not to go with actual socialites, quote unquote, for lack of a better word, and actually go with memes so that we don't get into trouble or portray people in a way they don't want to be portrayed. So I can't quite make out what that says from where I'm seated, but from your screens you can see that is a meme that's talking about somebody saying that they cannot be in a certain place and having those little bars of soap in their soap dish. Let's proceed. So those are examples of what we are talking about. Remember, once again, I said that I would not be using actual persons, but I chose to use memes instead to communicate what it is that we're talking about. So all these memes pretty much communicate. Those are very broke girls that are talking about being very classy, and you can tell that they're broke because of the room that they are in. So the memes continue. Again, girls talking about where they cannot be or where they cannot be seen, and yet as you can see from where that picture has been taken, they are not quite living that life that they're portraying to be living. So those are some of the examples that we have for you. Okay, and then the very popular one of the shoes. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that one.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we're going to start this conversation on this end. Let's begin with the fact that obviously nobody has a perfect life. But then again, we're seeing a lot of those perfect lives being plastered out there on social media. If you know your life is not as fabulous, why say otherwise online? Let's start with you.
Thank you. I think it's something I've learned is social media anxiety. When you interact with social media as often as some of us have come to start doing, you tend to feel a certain amount of jealousy about other people's lives. And we're human. We want the best for ourselves. So if we're not in that position ourselves currently, we'd like to... we aspire to greatness, so we show ourselves as aspiring to greatness through social media. So I think the reason why people do that is to fit in. To fit in. You want to be seen to be the best, to live in the best house, to drive the best car. That's what your peers are doing on social media. So it's to fit in.
To fit in, Alex, and yet again, you know this is not your car. You know this is not a restaurant that you dine in often. You might have just been passing by, and yet you want everybody to think that you've been on holiday at a certain destination with a certain gentleman who drives a certain car. I spoke to you earlier, and you don't seem to have a problem with that.
Yeah, I'm of the ideology that, you know, you can't be broke offline, and then be broke online. One must give. So social media is known to give a feel-good feeling, such that at least if those likes from photos at fancy places is what makes your life feel good, then go in and do it, as long as you don't exaggerate it. Yeah. So
yeah, Ivy, what do you think? Oh, Ivy, sorry. let's put it. Sorry, you're so many. What are your thoughts on the same? You can't be broke online and broke offline. Does that actually make any sense to you whatsoever?
No, it doesn't. But okay, I get why people try and portray that kind of life, because there's pressure. I mean, you'll see people you're in school with, and they're off in different countries, and probably you're just here. So maybe that one time you go to a restaurant, you really want people to know that you went there.
Yeah.
But no, I am not pro living a fake life online. It's not necessary. It's really not necessary.
Let me come to this end. Is it necessary? Are you guys of a different train of thought? Do you actually think that, I mean, nobody wants to see the miserable life you're living or the boring ugali and skuma you're eating, so why not just fake it at the end of the day? Do you think that there's deeper issues behind all of this? Is it just okay to portray the fact that your life is perfect?
I mean, just like Ivy said, I think it's, you know, people are aspirational and they want to look like everything is okay. But the thing is that people have to keep in mind with social media, what you're doing is portraying the highlights of your life, you know. So even if you went to a nice restaurant, you did go to a nice restaurant, but that's like the only thing you'll show. You won't show the day when you're eating ugali at home. Yeah. So it's just about, you know, as someone who's going through people's Instagram, they have to keep that in mind. But yeah,
the motive behind this behavior, for what you've observed, because you guys you have a following. Yeah. But then again, you're in a totally different line in terms of what you do on your YouTube channel. For those that you've observed and you actually can pick out and say, this doesn't look real, it doesn't look authentic. What do you think is the motive behind that type of behavior?
Like they're saying, is to fulfill something that they're looking for. But like Julia is saying, I don't think in the long run, it's not good for you. I think it's detrimental actually, because what if you never get there? So even if you're aspiring or, you know, you're looking for inspiration somewhere, but what if you don't get there, you know? Will you now be taking pictures on yachts and, you know, you'll never get there? You know, for me, it's just keep it real, keep it basic, and that's who you are, so just embrace it.
Dr. Ken, when you know very well that looking at a certain photo is going to evoke a certain emotion, you're going to get jealous, or you're going to feel inferior, or you're going to get very insecure. Why would a single photo of another person, and you don't even know whether this is real or not, you don't even know this person, because there's a lot of stalking that goes on social media as well. Why would that evoke that type of emotion in me if I don't know you, or even if I do know you? Why would that evoke that type of emotion?
You know, society has been evolving, and social media just accelerated that evolution. And what happens now is you have concepts like something we are studying now called the STS, shortcut to success. And everybody wants to succeed, everybody is ambitious, everybody wants to get something done. And so you use yardsticks. A lot of times your parents will tell you, go to school, be like so-and-so. But now all you need to do is stroll. You know, and you'll see it on the media, you'll see it on social media. And when you do that, it picks up your emotion and you respond to it. But the problem with that is that it kind of, you know, rubbishes the patterned socialization that we used to have. You know, when your parents would sit you down and say you have to study to be able to get Ebes a day. Now that doesn't work anymore. You can just pick up your role models from there, whether they are fake or not. You use it as an icon. And a lot of times it's affecting the minds of younger people because they become lazy. You know, and instead of getting things done, you look for shortcuts, and, you know, you start getting the slay queens of this world trying to, you know.
Right. And Michelle, let me get to you. Sorry, I got your name wrong the last time. Michelle, when you talk about these slay queens and the fact that even for those of you who are busy and you've got, you know, careers and you've got school going on and family, people are still obsessed with following these people, and people still give them likes, and as later you're going to go and quote unquote talk nastily about this person, you're still going to give them a like. So what's behind the obsession with this facade? We like to sit back and gossip and say, no, this is not true, but then again, we can't stop giving them the likes.
I think it's because, first of all, it's been made accessible to us. Everyone's lives are so accessible to us now. If social media wasn't there, and we didn't know that we can actually know this much about these people, then we'd be fine. Like, we'd be fine not obsessing over people's lives. But now it's there, it's out in the open, and I think even if you don't really like the person, you just want to be in the know. I mean, you have we have channels like E now. There's people across oceans, and we are in their lives completely. So you just, I don't know. I really don't know what the fascination is, but I do it as well.
Yeah. I think the same for you. I
well.
mean, you're a mom of twins now. Do you actually find it? Are you curious? Do you want to know what's going on behind the, these closed doors of these people through their social media? Do you find yourself actually obsessing over them sometimes and looking at what they're doing when you're available, when you have free time?
No, 100%. In fact, social media kept me company throughout those late nights with the children. I used to know what everyone was doing during every hour of their lives. And I don't know, to add on to what you were saying, even though I don't like you as a person, I will give you that like, because eventually I might meet you later on in life. We might start something together. And most of the people who even fake it for Instagram, no marketer, no corporate, no person wants to buy your ugali and skuma. People want to buy you because you're eating at a certain other joint. So the obsession,
The obsession, Alex? What's the obsession about? And even particularly for you guys who are actually creating a lot of self-esteem issues in your girlfriends, because your girlfriend you want your girlfriend to look like a certain socialite who has a snatched waist and a big behind and an ample bosom, but then again, that's not who we are. We're human. So the obsession behind this facade that is being created, what do you think is the thinking behind that, and specifically for you?
Yeah, the thinking behind it is that people first want to look good online. Like it's usually mostly see people they can't. As in basically you meet someone, they look so good online, but when you meet them physically, you first have to doubt yourself first. Is this the person? But then people will always want to look good online. You see, it's the only place. Social media is the only place whereby you can sell yourself as a brand, and if for somebody, their friends definitely never meet, but you know them looking very good. And then it's good to always create a positive impression. Of course, you don't want your girlfriend to look good like that other person, so that at least people can always appreciate you. Because people appreciate good-looking things, people love things which look good.
And you just counter that. You want your girlfriend to look like that person, but then again, this person is filtering every aspect of their life and their appearance as well. Let's get your thoughts on the fact that we're obsessed with looking at things that are self-created, that are actually fake, and at the end of the day, that is leading to a lot of mental issues amongst the younger demographic, the girls that are actually... I was talking to you, and I mentioned that actually a survey was done in one of the high schools where girls between the age of 16 and 18 were asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they said they want to be a certain socialite. Why? Because of how that socialite looks on Instagram. Your thoughts on the same?
I mean, it's sad because in reality, we don't know what these girls did to get there, and it's unfortunate that these are the role models that these young people are looking up to. But for me, it's just social media. I don't think will go away. Like he said, it's like a platform for everyone to show the best side of themselves. So for the young people, I wish that we could just send out the message. Like for us on Over 25, even us, we show the best side of our lives, But I think the message that we want to go out there is that, yes, you're watching us, but keep in mind that we also have downtime.
What has been the reaction to you guys actually being as real as you are? You talking about motherhood, for those of you who are mothers, talking about body image issues. I remember watching a topic that was about where you would get a nip and tuck. What has been the reaction to actually being that real and having a real conversation?
Our reaction has, and that's one of our things, is that people appreciate our authenticity. I think even just generally as women, as friends, in our clique, we're just really with each other. So the reaction has been good. Initially we were a bit nervous about going online and saying, oh, I wish I could but it's like once now people feel that sense of tuko pamoja, then you know, the response has been good.
You know, if I may interject, the word you just mentioned, role modeling, that's the change that social media has brought into society today. Because long ago, you'd wait to go to church to be shown a role model, or you wait for your teacher to tell you, be like Lillian. But these days, you look for those role models yourself. And when you go through the net, you choose. Actually, we didn't have that luxury before. When you're growing up, then you're told role model in Kanoko, you know, and you have to be like that. But now you can choose your role model. And you know, when your mama asks you, like, so, what do you want to be? I want to be like Lillian Mole. You know, what about Lillian? Then you say all the nasty things you can say. but you know, the thing is...
You don't use me as an example. Lorna, exactly, I mean, for you, I'll come back to you, Dr. Cant. When you, and I specifically remember you saying that much later in life that you would go a certain way. You were talking about, I think, tummy tucks and surgery. You don't see young people like you getting that real on social media. Actually, half of these girls who have gone the knife way don't even talk about it. We assume that it's their detoxes or their workout regimes. Nobody actually comes out and says it as it is. So for you, what was the reaction to you being, first of all, as young as you are, having this young demographic that follows you, coming out and being that bold and saying, yes, this is something that I'd actually do?
So number one, I feel like all of a sudden we are responsible for a lot of people who are watching what we're doing. So I like that, number one, we are friends first of all, and we've always just been real with each other, you know. So I think we've created a niche whereby people are, you know, we are not showing fake things, you know. People are like, it's about time that people are showing, you know, talking about real things that are happening, what is happening to, you know, our certain demographics, the 19 to 24s and the 35s, you know, going onwards. So people feel that we fill the gap whereby people can actually speak about these things outwardly and openly. And, you know, even if you look at our comments, people are like, you know, we've been looking for a channel like yours, you know, because we feel like, you know, social media is infiltrated with fakeness, but you people are bringing out the other side that no one is willing to talk about, and I think they really like that. So and Ken, back to you. One of the major aspects of social media is comparison. I mean, we cannot help it. We end up comparing ourselves with the people that we think have a more perfect life than ours. So the question is how to stop comparing yourself, how to actually be comfortable with where you are at or who you are, irrespective of the fact that somebody else looks like they have it all going on.
You know, when we're being socialized, a lot of times, both religiously and, you know, secular, we are told about choice. Even when you go to the legalese, you know, human rights is about choice. And social media has widened that choice to such an extent that even parents have to live with it and tell their children that, you know what, choose what you want to do, but then the parent is there to shepherd you, just to help you along the way. And the thing with social media is that there are no boundaries. Now, that's the saddest part about social media, that anybody can go anywhere they want, however young or old they are. And so they come across like over 25 and they listen, then they compare it to another one and they're like, okay, I'll go with this one. But long ago, you know, the nature of parenting was such that the child had to listen to the mother and then listen to the father and then follow that direction, bolstered maybe by the teacher and by the priest. But these days, you know, you find a very young person coming to talk to daddy or mommy about something so mature and so gross, but the parent is left there in shock. You know, like,
I'm about to ask, like, what?
Don't. You know? And so parents are, you know, parents are having a nightmare of a life. But there are good things about social media. Like he says, you know, it's able to widen your scope. You're not just somebody being brought up in some narrow alley. You're able to check out what else is going on in the world. And it's not just in Kenya, it's not just in your locality. You can go to the LA.
But is it only in Kenya where we are faking it? And are you actually able to tell who is saying the truth and who is not saying the truth, or who is posting the truth and who is not posting the truth? How do you gauge these things, Ivy? Because for the younger demographic, for those girls who are in school right now and for those young guys who are in school, there's a lot of pressure, and you get people going into all manner of things to afford this lifestyle, to afford these shoes, to afford these clothes, to afford these fancy spas and these fancy weaves. The money is paid for by the company. But honestly speaking, how to gauge what is authentic and what is not authentic?
I actually don't think that Kenya, we're the only ones doing it. It's done all over the world, especially these celebrities that we are obsessed with. Most of them have a creative who photoshops half their photos on a payroll with paid per month. So for you to be able to gauge, I don't know. Personally, I can't even tell when a photo is photoshopped. I really don't know. I don't know. I think the only thing I would say to that is it's for you to find in yourself that you're okay as yourself, like you're beautiful. Because if you start, I don't know if there's a way you can gauge who's fake or not. I don't know if
as a YouTube channel, you of course are going with the likes and how many followers you have. Does that correlate to, for you, has it changed you as a people? Has it changed you as a group? When you initially started, perhaps you started with this common goal. But now that sense of immediate gratification, immediate validation from what people are immediately saying, from what people are posting, whether positive or negative, has that sort of changed the order of things, the way you guys initially set out to run your channel and to come up with your topics and with your content?
I will speak for myself in two ways. One, I can say that the fact that Over 25 has been so successful has changed me. I used to be a person who would walk out of the house without makeup. Nowadays, I'm so conscious that I'll meet someone who say, "Oh my God, Ivy," and then I'll look like I just woke up. But for us, our camaraderie, I think, is even stronger because we can see the outside forces that can actually change us. So I think as a friendship, we've grown stronger. We're better. And I don't know, in terms of content creation, what it is we talk about, we're doing even more daring topics. We're doing even better because thankfully our audience says they love what we do and we should not dilute it. So that's how I can say Over 25 has changed.
But for you as well, is it? Are you of the same line of thought?
Yes, I am. And then even just to add on to what Ivy said, I'm just grateful that first we are real friends, and secondly we have each other, because yes, of course we have those bad comments. Sometimes they may be directed to one particular person, but we have each other's backs in just another way. Like we talk each other down from the ledge when someone says something and you really want to say something back. So it has strengthened our friendship, and we see each other so much more. I mean, Over 25 was started, one of the reasons why we started it was to have an excuse to meet. And like to chill and chat with each other. And then we just decided to put a camera in front of us.
I'm curious why, as opposed to being a group, you would not want that fame and that glory all to yourself as Michelle, as opposed to having to share that limelight, because that's what's happening on social media. Everybody wants to be their own person. That's what brand influencing is all about, and the fact that you're creating your own social influence, meaning it's all about you. So you guys decided to go a different route. You're all very gorgeous, and you don't mind sharing that platform? You don't mind sharing that fame?
Not at all, not at all, because I mean, I never even set out for something like this. And I love our brand. Like, we really enjoy ourselves as a brand. I really like it. Like, I wouldn't have it any other way. No, I don't want it for myself. I want it for us.
Let's get their thoughts as well. For you?
Number one, I love this girl to death. And, you know, like I said, people are watching us because we are all of us. If Ivy started her own YouTube channel, I bet you she's, you know, it already just destroys whatever it is people are doing. And, you know, even when people are looking for us and we're like, okay, no, we want Julia for this, we're like, no, we move as a unit. So if you need Julia, we are all coming.
That's exactly what she told me.
Yeah, we're all coming, you know. There's no way, you know, even her, she doesn't want to be here alone, because when she's here, she's Julia. When we're together, we're over 25. So yeah, I think it works.
I'd like to get your thoughts on the same as well.
Well, I couldn't have said it I don't know what to add. But yeah, you know, when we started this channel, it was one of those things where I was like, I'm not gonna do it on my own. So either way, I can't go. I needed them there. So now that we are all of us, I can't even imagine. I mean, if someone wants to start something else, I think we'll support it, to be honest. Yeah, because let's say Ivy wants to focus on, you know, mommy stuff, and she wants 100%. I think we'll support it. But we move as a unit, you know. Yeah, we are the package. Everyone has their own strengths. Everyone has their own preferences. Social media. I mean, like personally, and it comes out. So yeah.
For that person posting a lie, if you do truly know that this is a lie that you're putting out there, where does that leave you once the initial high fades from the instant likes that you're going to get, from the comments that are going to come in immediately? once that high fades away, where does that leave the person?
You know, there are two sides to social media. There is what they're talking about, group solidarity, and long time ago people had to arrange like on Monday to meet on Friday. You know, and these days with social media you can be chatting in your bedrooms and you're together. So the networking bit is really advantageous. But then there's the idea of also putting yourself out there. You know, we always left it to parents to market us. When you're growing up, even if you're 20, 25, 30, they're the ones to market you. And when they go somewhere, they say, my daughter is like this, my son is like that. But these days you can do it yourself. And then the parents are there spectating. But when you think about it, when you get to self-esteem issues, that's now the negative part of social media. Because we can't save you from yourself. Yeah, you get to a point where you put something out there, then your bubble is burst, and you hide. You know, because everybody has probably gone to know the other side of you that you didn't want them to know. And we never had that danger when socialization was so much straighter. Yeah, but social media has brought in this thing of you expose yourself to the world, and it's got its advantages, yes. Like they're saying, there are people who feed off what they talk about every week or whatever, however long it takes. But then there are also those who are just waiting with claws out, you know, like, okay, let's hear what they're going to say this week. You know?
What about the person that is getting affected? Once again, I think this is a question that's coming in a lot. For that person that's getting affected by somebody's business, whatever it is that I choose to post there, why should it be any of your business? Why should it cause any emotion in you? Why should you feel bad about it? It's my life, after all.
Yeah, now that's the thing. You know, social media has broken those barriers between... There's something we call in sociology social distance. That distance, like, between people is determined by how close you are as friends, how close you are as family. But now everybody's in your business. You know, so it doesn't matter whether you're a sister, you're a brother, or you're a cousin, or whatever. They come into it. But the danger with that is that the person who's at the center of the storm is left standing in the rain. Yeah, because everybody hits on to whatever everybody's talking about, and then you'll find those who are also faking it worse than you. They say things that they don't even know. It's like a genre of rumor mongering. So somebody will say, oh, even me, I know she did this, she did that, but he has no idea what. It's just that they're latching on to what everybody's saying.
I'll have you guys comment individually on the comments that we're getting as we start to wind up. Alex, you're an online editor. So for people's online presence, how can their online presence be assisted or guided for the danger, I mean, to avoid the danger of social media footprints, where you go for a job interview and nobody will hire you because of that bikini pic you posted, or because of that whatever it is that you posted that might, because nowadays employers and HR are going through every aspect of people's lives. So as an online editor, can people be assisted to run their social media pages more professionally and more decently, or will that take the fun out of social media?
Yeah, people can be assisted and guided on how to manage their Facebook pages. First of all, you have to know that the online never forgets. If you upload a photo, once it goes out, even if you delete it, there is some footprints that have remained behind. So as much as you do things, you have to guide it and put it in a way. Would you be happy someone seeing it 10 years to come? Like even for the ladies who post some photos, would you be happy your kid seeing that photo, being shown that photo, that this was your mom back then? Such. So people
I'm sure
can
they have moved on though. That's the argument. They'll probably be thinking, seriously, mom? But honestly, I mean, you have a valid point there, that it cannot be erased, that it will forever be in the memories of your followers. Okay, so we're getting comments here. Social media for me is a platform where I stalk my ex, and all his relationships after me, and try to be better than all of them. Sometimes you need to fake it till you make it. This is Akinyi from Busia. Somebody here saying it's human nature to always want to have memories that look good. Even in 80s, photos were being taken at KICC. Cameraman would be called on Christmas days when you have new clothes or after bathing. It's not faking, it's natural. Somebody here is saying, fast impression lasts, and I would rather have a low profile so that there wouldn't be any false impression to others. What if a good John Doe is going through your Facebook? Keep it locked, keep it quiet, or keep it real. This is Sherry from Westland. Somebody's saying the girl in pink is pretty. Okay, really stick to the topic. Somebody's saying habitual liars digitalize their lies this time round. This is Ali in Eldoret. Hi guys, I'm a victim. My wife always complains that I don't post her and the children on Facebook. Honestly, I don't like it, and I'm a fan of Facebook. I don't want to post my wife and my children. Please talk to her if she's listening. Somebody saying women and girls are the most affected, and that is in fact a fact. That's according to the National Health Survey. Women and girls are the most affected, and somebody is saying it's time to shut pages, tubes, etc. Nowadays, you cannot differentiate the truth and what is fake. So a lot of comments coming in for on the same and on what it is that we're talking about here. I'll start to wind up this conversation. Ivy, starting with you, on the Slay Queens or the Slay Kings or whatever it is that they call themselves. You guys have chosen to go a totally different route. You could have chosen as Ivy to be Ivy on Instagram or on Snapchat and do your thing there. But you've chosen to use social media in a more constructive way. Talking to this demographic that is choosing to portray their lives this way, and we're not saying that social media is bad entirely. There are a lot of positives. For you as Ivy, what would be your parting thoughts or remarks on the same, the illusion that is being created on social media? Like I said, a National Health Survey has found that there's a lot of depression, insecurity issues that are coming from what people are following from their fans on social media. What would be your parting remarks on this topic?
Two things. It's never that serious, honestly. And also, don't make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. As he said, it's going to live forever. And practice self-love. If, for example, you're at work and you find yourself not finishing a task because you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram, then there's a problem. Look within yourself and see, okay, is this really what I should be doing with my time? It's never that serious. That's what I said.
You think a lot of constructive time is being used to put a lot of nonsense out there on social media?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Time is our greatest resource, and that is what we're doing. Sometimes even I know I do it. And I'm speaking because I'm not an expert on social media. We only started this thing, I mean, 1.5 years ago. I'm not an expert. This is my opinion. And even based on my own experience, what I've seen and what I do, I know that constructive time is being used for the wrong reasons.
Okay. Thanks for that, Ivy. For you, Alex, you're an online editor. What are some of the oops moments that you've observed? What do you think, or what do you advise that people should do better when it comes to their social media profiles and their social media activity?
Yeah, social media is the future, first of all. So therefore, in social media, you see sometimes people may put some content that may not be so appealing, but the beauty with social media, there is always so much to choose from. And I would advise people to have a lot of self-esteem and take things positively. If you see a certain photo, at least try, even if it's a car, at least for guys, once they see cars, they want to learn more about cars. If it's a lady at a certain place, you can always have the positive attitude. You say, even if I may not be there, at least I can see this photo and I can tell people I know how a certain place looks like. Have such ideas, positive ideas on social media, and then try not to be affected by what other people post. And try not to be affected by what other people post. For those who have made it their business to post photos on business class or first class, exotic holidays, is there any harm in doing that for them? Perhaps getting a lot of, but then again, I don't even know what they gain out of that, a lot of them, because I don't see them endorsing big brands, I don't see them getting jobs out of doing that. So what is the thinking behind that for them, really? Yeah, I tend to have the thinking that people out there, some people go through problems, and some people tend to take all their problems out in social media. So if somebody is experiencing a certain problem at home, then a certain day they get lucky to go for a trip or vacation, you tell them that they have to ensure that that photo is on social media. Nowadays they say that if it
so you're saying that person actually has deep emotional issues.
Yeah, for some people.
For some.
Yeah, and then for some people they do it for record keeping, such because like even social media, it's safe to store your photos. And then like nowadays the saying goes that if it is not on social media, it will probably never happen. So so if I wouldn't mind people putting their photos there. At least it also shows the positive side of life. Yeah, it is also what makes people happy. So if you're having problems and you feel like social media is your getaway place, by having many followers, as long as you don't fake it so much such that you forget your own life.
There's nothing like faking it so much. You're either fake or real. So which is which?
Yeah. You know, the beauty is, for some people, they take social media as a challenge. I'm sure some of you may wonder that. You may see very many people posting cars online, but you're not really sure if they own it or not. But for another person to sit and then say, yeah, I have to really work so hard, at least even me, I get such a car. So
that's
social media, you can always take social social media in a very positive way, and then try to learn. There's so many jokes online. You can make friends, network. Yeah, social media has so much good things to offer. Yeah.
Michelle, for you, for that demographic that's going in a totally opposite direction, going in the direction that was not intended for social media, at least not in our conservative Kenya or in our conservative African nation, where our parents stalk us every day and where they are appalled by seeing things that they did not raise us to do or to actually engage in. What would be your parting remarks to that person?
Just what Ivy said, it's never that serious. It really isn't. I think people need to focus more on the actual lives that they live, rather than working so hard to portray this lifestyle that you don't live. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with highlighting the good parts of your life. I think it's great. I think it's nice that we have social media to create memories and to show people things like the friendships we have, the families we have, you know, celebrating the love around you. That's
Talking about perfect relationships, you seemingly have a perfect relationship on social media.
Does that exist?
I see your partner really proudly posting your pictures, your babies as well. Are you uncomfortable with that? Is that something that you're uncomfortable with, the fact that your relationship is out in the open? Because a lot of people shy away from having their relationships put out there. Some maybe because they don't want to expose their man, some men because they don't want to expose their girlfriend. For all reasons, there are people who choose not to put their spouses or their boyfriends or children, whatsoever, parents, out there on social media. Are you uncomfortable with that?
I think it's exactly what you said. It's a choice. And I'd be lying if I said I've never thought about it and how it could be a bad thing. But again, like, I don't think, I'm not uncomfortable with it, because I am happy, and I'm okay with people knowing that I'm happy.
And yours is real happiness.
Yes, it is. And the things that we show are the things that we are proud of. That's why I'll post my baby's pictures, because I'm proud of her. I'll post my friends. I'm showing the good parts of my life, so I wouldn't leave that out, because it's a very big part of my life.
Lorna, let's get your parting remarks on, and we could be wrong. Maybe this topic is actually for some people a little bit unfriendly and unfair. There are people who think that social media should actually be that bed where you lay out your cards, where you do your thing without judgment from anybody. For you, your parting remarks, is social media actually creating a facade? Is it creating an illusion that things are what they should not be? And if so, what direction do you think that active social media users should take after watching this segment?
Yes, I think it is creating a facade. And for me, what I will tell, especially the young girls or anyone on social media, our mothers are on social media now. If your mother sees that and she'll be uncomfortable, don't post it. So think about the people who raised you, your kin. If they see that and for a fact they won't like it, then why are you posting it? That's my parting remark. Don't do it.
Julia, have you guys ever had a topic on say, slay queens or social media etiquette and behavior? And if you've ever in one of your references, say, talked about somebody who perhaps is faking it for the gram or for Snapchat, or if you've had a conversation in that direction, what has been the reaction to that? Have you gotten a backlash out of seemingly looking like the perfect YouTube quartet? Have you gotten a backlash out of looking like goody two-shoes who really are not using social media for what it should be used for, which is a lot of fame and glamour and all of that?
No, we haven't. We've never taken that direction, because actually when we're coming up with the topics, sometimes we ask ourselves, okay, is this going against, is this against someone or for someone? Even like when we're doing topics in relationships and we're discussing stuff about men, we're like, okay, do we look like we're male bashing? We shouldn't male bash, So we try and use the platform for like a good thing. So it's sometimes you might end up talking about something like, oh, let's just pull back. But no, we've never really talked about someone. I don't even think maybe in our real lives we will, but it's on social media you won't, because you're
Oh, well, I heard you once talk about bleaching, and I won't even go into that. Well, in that conversation, you can catch that.
Yes, I mentioned that because I'm dark skinned, you know, so I'm like, why would you leave me and then go and do that? And, you know, Team Melanie. So no, that was just a side joke, but yeah.
Okay, so back to business. The facade that social media is creating, the harmful effects of that, if at all there are any for you, what would be your parting remark?
For me, it would just be to, when you see something and you find yourself that you're jealous, you know, like I know that you just identify that feeling and just use it as turn it into a positive. Like he said, you know, like just say, okay, at least now I know how it looks like to be in Dubai on a yacht. You know, use that for your vision board. Like if you start feeling very negative towards it, fine, identify it and then see how you can flip that around. That would be it.
And finally, the pros and the cons for you, how to actually balance, because social media is here, it's not going away. If anything, it's growing. So for those who feel it's creating emotional issues within them, who are getting depressed, insecure, having drama in their homes because they saw their boyfriend somewhere they were not supposed to be and what have you, for those people who are actually really getting negatively affected for it, how to cope with these changing times, and for those who are actually putting fake stuff out there, how to manage that narcissistic behavior.
You know, when we teach about behavior, we talk about sanctioning systems where society, you know, takes care of you, the police, the parents, and your big sisters and your big brothers. That's what has been destroyed by the social media, that now we have to go into self-sanctioning and you have to protect yourself. And I think the strength of a human being is the fact that you're able to self-internalize, you know, and say, I'm not going to do this. And one of the biggest problems we have is that from you know, years ago we used to teach about addictions and talk about drugs and alcohol. Now we have social media addiction, which nobody knows how to treat. You know, so you end up being on that tab or on that whatever screen for forever. But the worst part of it, Lillian, is the glass eye syndrome, where people are committing crimes behind the screen. You know, and you're abusing someone and, you know, conning somebody and doing all sorts of nasty things on social media. And that is the kind of criminality that long ago would be punished very quickly, because I would just go report you to the police and say, oh, Julia did this to me. But now on social media, you know, unless we follow the footprints using the conspirators, it's very difficult. Eventually somebody throws one at you and you discover a year later that it was actually her. You know, because it went round and round and round. The other thing that has happened is that the family thread has been torn apart by social media. That you can sit with your mommy and daddy there, and all of them, all of you, not all of them, all of you on the phone. And you don't even know what somebody is doing, because your child could be doing something really gross on that phone. And long ago you'd talk and have a conversation over a meal, you know, with your children, and then you'd be able to censor what they're thinking and what they're saying. That doesn't happen anymore, because they're sitting there with you and they're like, oh, my daddy, he looks like a dinosaur. You know? So there are a lot of nasty things that are going on with social media. It is a good thing, like he says. It opens your horizons, it expands your, you know, vision. But there's so many negativities associated with it that you find some people then saying, okay, I'm not going to go beyond here. Yeah, if you can master that self-sanctioning, then you're in a good place. But the problem with social media is that you find such juicy stuff that you're trying to get out, and then you're like, okay, one more post, you know? And it just becomes chaotic.
Okay, and finally, as we close, I'll give you an example of how to use social media constructively. Over 25, and that's why they were selected to be in this studio panel tonight. Catch their YouTube channel, and I'll just go around as we close for your favorite topics. And you know what, you could actually make money on YouTube by starting a channel. Those are some of the constructive ways you can use social media. Posting about your fake lifestyle, posting about your designer shoes, posting about your expensive house will not really get you anywhere, at least not financially. So let's start with you, Lorna, on your favorite topic on Over 25, just as we close, just to get a scope of how people can actually use, and especially people of your demographic, can use social media constructively.
My favorite topic was, I think, situationships, because a lot of men and women are finding themselves in, not relationships, but it's just something you're doing. But I think we demystified it and we talked about it, and a lot of people came back and said, wow, I didn't even know I was in a situationship, so thank you. So yeah, it was one of my favorite topics.
Okay, Julia?
My favorite one was one of the earlier ones we did about our insecurities. So each one of us had to pick 2 or 3 insecurities that they had and talk about them.
Yeah. Okay.
That was
Ivy.
I'd have to say something we did more recently, a new segment that we started, things they don't tell you about, and we talked about what they don't tell you about work, being employed and being in the corporate space. I loved that topic because we started off thinking it was going to be very dull, and then we came to realize that we're experiencing so many of the same things in the workplace, and we got a very positive response from people who thought, wow, thanks guys. We actually passed on education.
Brilliant. And for you, Michelle?
For me, it's What Men Like, the one we did with the boys, the first one, because some of the things that were
What
being
do they like? I need to watch that
they
one.
like their nails to be
Clean.
By their better
by their
half.
ladies.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and it was so shocking for all of us who were like, what? This has been happening, and we didn't know, and they want you to shower when after you come from the club so you don't smell like pizza. I don't know. Like, it's just the weirdest things. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that we could be shocked like that by some of the things that they would say.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it so much.
Brilliant. And how interesting and engaging is that? I hate to say that there's shame on you if you call yourself a slay queen, because this is actually the kind of constructive discussion that we want to see on social media. For you, Alex, as an online editor, your thoughts on, and I'm just going to use them as an example of what we're talking about when we talk about using social media constructively. Having watched their channel, if you have, or similar ones, what is your observation on this trend with YouTube channels that are actually engaging the youth and this demographic on things that they're talking about in their different social activities or social places?
Online is the future. YouTube channels are good, but majority of the Kenyans may not be able to maybe watch so many videos. But if online, going back to online like Facebook, I like Facebook because like there are a lot of memes. People nowadays there are very many trending things. Like Kenyans get to discuss various things like the boy child. You may hear even about the boy child. And then on social media, the other beauty side is that you can even look for jobs, connect with your own friends, colleagues. It basically makes very many friends online. And like if you're having a very bad day, like just go online, find people who create funny jokes that crack you so much. That's that social media becomes so good instead of the bad side of social media, whereby you find cyberbullying. Some other guys are doing funny things there. But social media can be very positive and good, and be a very positive side of life. If you are an addict, you can look on the good side, whereby it makes you laugh. And you keep your memories there, but don't overshare some things.
Some things. Okay, thank you so much. I mean, it's a conversation that could go on, and we're so glad that you could join us. Our studio panel this evening was Ivy Mugo. We're also joined by Michelle Wanjiko, Lorna Moshemi, and Julia Gaito. They are the quartet. The quartet. Four of the girls who actually make up Over 25. That's their YouTube channel. You can catch it, and they've got interesting topics there that you can catch up with former ones and the ones that will be coming in coming days as well. We're also joined by Alex Oshira, who is an online editor, and also Ken Oko, who is a sociologist. Your University of Nairobi students are actually like really saying hello and saying they miss you. I don't know when you guys are opening. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. Please continue sending in your comments. It's a conversation that we'll be continuing to have in subsequent bulletins on our different platforms here on Citizen TV. We thank you for your time. Good night.